Good morning. Here we are in another Sunday morning updates to the Monoblue Epiphany deck. This deck, I believe, is in its final stages. It has been a pretty easy coast to diamond level and will keep going, but here's what we are rocking. So Monoblue Epiphany is a control deck but also a tempo deck. Basically, you have your curve of counter spells, Essence Scatter, Jewelry Disruption, which is also a land, 3-drop Neutralize, 4-drop Rewind, 5-drop Voracious Greatshark, 6-drop Sublime Epiphany. So you counter all the threats that are going to kill you the fastest, and then you bounce whatever you can, and then counter it if you have to. Into the Royal Bounce, draw a card. Brazen Borrower, bounce, get a 3/1 flyer. Shark Typhoon is a one of, since it's not a main theme of the deck, but it is useful to have some threat diversity. You also have a manland, Crawling Barrens. Useful that you do not have to activate to make it a creature to dump counters on it, so very useful. Castle Vantress as a way to dig for more cards, and then the odd man out Shipwreck Dowser, a way to get Sublime Epiphany back when you target Shipwreck Dowser and do other things like counter a spell, bounce a permanent, draw a card, or counter an ability. Alright, so as I said before, there's lots of lands as well, so 19 islands, 2 castle, 2 barons, and 4 disruption. So it has been much improved in the mana screw or landlocked department. So you want to hit those land drops every turn and then hope you draw enough to slow down your opponent until you can take the game over completely. And sometimes all it takes is a counter spell, bounce a creature, and then counter a creature with Voracious Greatshark while they're tapped out, and then you can protect it with everything else you have. Or you can play the land go game and then play a Shipwreck Dowser and then get back a counter spell to protect it and then go from there. So it's kind of not the most exciting deck to play, but it is pretty powerful, and I am having a grand old time playing it. I do play best of 3 mostly, but best of 1 it's been pretty okay too because you have less issues with the land drop. Although the faster the deck is, the more it can be of concern. But the biggest problem for the deck is rogues, because on top of being fast, rogues also has counter magic, while mono red does not. So the updated sideboard, we have the Soul Guide Lantern for graveyard shenanigans against black red, or uh, Dance of the Manse, or the other card, Elspeth Conquers Death. So anything that's trying to do stuff in the graveyard, it's good to take something out and then have it on the field to exile the graveyard at the drop of a hat. It also cycles pretty well as well in a blue deck. Fate of the Wishes is the newest addition. We have just a 1/4 flyer for 2. Seems pretty good against aggressive decks and decks that have flyers. Kind of the most reactive card in the sideboard as opposed to active, but I mean, sometimes you want a 1/4. At least I do. Negate for the mostly control deck, so like Yorion Control or Doom Foretold. Things with a lot of less creatures. Just I sideboard out the Essence Scatters and put in the negates if there's less creatures, and rely on the other counter spells. A Mystical Dispute for the Rogues matchup, and then you can put in against the mirror if that happens to exist, um, or any deck with blue, such as the Ultimatum deck, Genesis Ultimatum, extra counter spell, or if you want to get faster counter spells as a 3-drop instead of a 4, 5, and 6-drop, you can select or sideboard out your top heavy counter spells for Mystical Dispute. Shark Typhoon, a not originally in the sideboard, but since I have the card, we're definitely playing it. Not entirely necessary, but the card is powerful, and you can cycle it for blockers, or you can just drop it down for 6 mana, and then you have a lot of non-creature spells to make blockers and attackers. Low Mage's Domination against the mid-range decks that have creatures. So you can try to disrupt their board. If something gets through, you can take control of it. I am excited for the new Control Magic Planeswalker enchantment aura in the new set, because it will likely cost the same to cast or less than this card. Alright, so that's Monoblue Epiphany.